Hello and welcome to the Squeaky Bum Time podcast with Mike and Laurent. Thank God. It is Monday. It is not Monday. It is Friday, November 18th. In this episode, it's time. We're going to preview the entire World Cup in one episode from groups A through H. But first, Mike, I know that you started as a big U.S. men's national team guy, and you were a son of Sam or whatever the hell they're called. What does this
I was an outlaw.
I was an outlaw. That's what they're called. What does this World Cup mean to you? We've been out of it for 8 years. This is a big deal.
Yeah. It is difficult to quantify. Two things happen simultaneously, right? The World Cup broke the calendar year for football, and the U.S. is back in it after quite a hiatus. I was recounting the 2014 run in my head, and what you have to think about
the last time we saw them was Tim Howard.
Yes, correct. It was the Tim Howard Belgium game. But what you don't think about is two things. Because I was talking to a friend of mine. I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he was like, I don't really have a lot of expectations for this go around, but I like the big one because we're hosting in 2026, right?
Yeah.
And I went, World Cup progress is not linear, right? It doesn't guarantee if you get to the quarterfinals in this World Cup, it doesn't guarantee you'll win the next one, right? In fact, it is quite literally the luck of the draw, which we'll talk about in a bit. But let's go back to that 2014 one. Let's start there. Germany, Portugal, and Ghana. And we got out of the group, right?
We did.
By the grace of Jermaine Jones, I suppose, right? So the ghosts of U.S. soccer passed. But I think, and here's the other thing. We got matched up with Belgium in the round of 16. But if memory serves, we were going to get Uruguay, I think, in the quarters, which is not a I wouldn't call it a winnable game, but in the quarters of the World Cup, it's kind of a winnable game, right? I don't have it exactly, but I remember vividly thinking there is a very, very clear path for the United States of America to get to the semifinal of the World Cup out of nowhere, right? So, that's the kind of things that can happen in a short tournament. And it is sort of out of your control.
Yeah, there's
one or two things in 3 games can happen. So as I say this, the xenophobic hype machine in the middle of my chest that has been lying dormant for 8 years, it's like it's rattling the cage. It wants to get out. Let me out. I want some walking around money. Come on, let me go fuck around and make some crazy shit. I want to dress like Uncle Sam and yell racist things at people. It's been a while. The world has changed. The world has changed.
You can't do that anymore.
The world has changed since the last time the U.S. was in the World Cup. No, but I think I think that that could happen. Yeah. Right. We don't know how the groups are going to fall. I think I have a pretty good idea and I don't like it, but I haven't really gotten to level of excitement I've been. And I think I haven't followed this group as much as I used to, of course.
Yeah. I have,
but it's always like one step forward, 2 steps back with this group, right? Like they had all the excitement over, I think it was even like 2 summers ago, last summer, I can't remember anymore, when they beat the hell out of Mexico a few times. And it was like, hey, they're getting ready to go. They've got McKinney, they've got Adams, they got
real players.
They have a group for the first time since probably the 2002 World Cup. With that was the ascendancy of the Donovan and the Beasley and I think Howard. But that was the like, hey, these are players now. These guys, they're not just athletes; they're actual football players. That feels like that again. So that optimism is there, but it's very cautious optimism. And on the other side of that optimism is our old friends England, Wales. And Iran, which is going to, not matter that much, but we'll go through, we'll get to, I think we group H, I can't remember. Sorry, group E. So we'll get to them in a minute. But I do want to go through all of them and then quickly, and then I think we'll spend a lot of the show on group B because, hey, most of our listeners are either English or U.S. fans. So let's get through
or Welsh.
or Welsh. So let's go through, let's skip B and then come back.
Let me do some house cleaning on this for people uninitiated. I mean, Qatar, bad
people
World
from other
Cup.
countries. Welcome to the show.
Qatar World Cup, bad. We know the whole story. They bought it like they bought everything. I'm really I have like a very bent up, messed up take on this. I'm just like, where were you? Everyone, like the German fans talking about ban the World Cup, don't go. I'm like,
Yeah, this
you
happened 12
had
years ago.
12
This
years.
happened 12 years ago. I
12,
remember it
and I mean
vividly.
12 years where you could.
The
Now,
election,
there
Sepp
have been a
Blatter in
lot.
2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of journalists who've worked on this because I saw the abuses in Qatar on
Like
HBO
E60.
Sports, right?
Yeah.
Growing up, they would go. Armin
Uh-huh.
Katan went and they covered it and they covered it and they covered it. They could not get anyone to give a shit more.
No, of course
The
not.
journalists tried.
Well, in so much as they could. You know why? Because the same people who bought the World Cup were in charge of making sure that the people who are trying to expose the people who bought the World Cup aren't going to get in trouble for
Yeah.
buying the World Cup.
The other piece that drives me nuts is like, okay, I'm not condoning anything that happens in Qatar. That's fine. They have their own culture. But I'm going to talk about this. China gets the Olympics and a World Cup and a couple times. The Russians just had the World Cup. Where's the fucking outrage? They had already invaded fucking Ukraine and annexed it.
And the weird thing is,
what the fuck are we doing?
And in the Olympics, it's just, here's how crooked FIFA is. At least they're not even as, like, the IOC isn't even as bad as them, because the IOC lets Russian athletes compete because they're like, look, man, it's not your fucking fault that Putin's a dickhead, but you can't represent your nation. You have to be like the side door Russia. Independent athletes who might or might not be from the area that is normally known as Russia, right? Come on.
But then,
at
like,
least they're doing something.
All the fan groups are German, and I'm like, I distinctly remember seeing black and white photos of Jesse Owens running past Hitler. Yeah. Shut the fuck up with your fan vote. So I'm just
that's the World War II reference.
Yeah, I'm just all over the place with all these things. I'm like, wait a minute, what are we talking about? Like, we're supposed to be inclusive and be part of things. Listen, I'm sorry that Islam's culture really means anti-gay. Like, sorry, it's in there, okay?
I was talking to somebody about it today, and like, they're not allowing beer outside of like the hotel. And by the way, you need a
$19,000 pass.
Yeah, on the hierarchy of like, this is a big deal. But my point that I'm making is, I'm not gonna go because of listen, I'm not gonna get in trouble in Qatar for being a drunk watching the World Cup. I'm gonna do that on my couch. But what I'm saying is that I don't agree with everything they stand for as far as human rights and the way they built the stadiums. To be clear, the thing you mentioned with the journalists, there were slave labor building these stadiums. And you think that's the worst part? The foreman on the job site, if you were a slave labor person, they had your passport. You couldn't fucking leave.
Yeah,
so
it's bad.
It was really bad. So as much as they like, we don't like gay people, I got news for you. You guys are just scratching the surface. Okay, so stop.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is like, there's a real moral quandary, and I shared with the WhatsApp group a really good guy, Goldblatt, who wrote "The World Is Round." Very Northern English, kind of working class English guy who wrote "The Ball Is Round: A History of the World Cup." Really good book. But he's much like a labor union guy, and he's talking about all these things. If you logically put them across, and you're supposed to be angry about this Qatar World Cup, then never watch football, because the ball is made from child labor. My team is owned by the sources of evil. PSG is owned by sources of evil. Messi plays for them. His check comes from them. So we shouldn't watch him either. So when you start going down your moral hierarchy of where you're going to pick your spots, you're going to get into trouble. So we should all just be like, okay, I'm angry. I don't like this, but we love football. So where do we go? You have to just accept it and be like, we're talking about it. It's out there. Is there a value in having these countries be under the spotlight? I think there is, because the Western money in our culture does lean hard. We're kind of being like, hey, you guys are fucked up. You have the World Cup, but you're fucked up. You're fucked up. You're fucked up. And that kind of bends them, and they're like, all right, we're fucked up. I get it. Because they really want to be like us, ultimately. Even though they're like,
but at the same time,
Islamic.
They don't feel bad about it. They don't care. They're going to have their party. They
want to be accepted, though. They want to be part of the community.
They want to be accepted on their terms. They want a certain segment of the population to accept them. They don't care if gay people accept them.
Yes, agreed.
Right?
They want to go. They want to go the least they need to go to be able to be at the party.
Yes. And to be clear, to like, again, I do not condone most, if not everything, that they stand for over there. But I'm also not going to go over there and cause a problem, because that's how you get Brittany Griner. Okay, so I'm like, hey, I'm fucking staying here,
man. You know, thank God she's 6'10" and ready to go.
Yeah, well,
like I can't imagine there's any women in that woman's prison in Russia that could really fuck with her.
No, she's
actually
fine.
You know what?
She's not happy, but she's fine.
Svetlana's there's some tough Svetlanas out there.
And so, as we turn our attention to Group A, the same way that we talked about the people who, again, bought the World Cup, they're trying to buy the first game of the World Cup, because on Sunday, the Qatari nation, the host nation, always starts with the first game.
Yes,
it's the only game on Sunday. They're playing Ecuador, who by all means should probably beat them. And the funny thing is, I looked at the betting odds on this the other day, and I haven't since the story broke, but I went, I bet you that Qatar is going to try and buy this game. And Qatar was only about 250, plus 250. And I went, yeah, Vegas knows they're going to buy this game, because they should be, by all rights.
By the way, there was already a scandal that they tried to buy the game for $8 million.
Would you stop ruining my whole shtick here? But I was saying, they should, Qatar versus Ecuador, it should be probably 350, 400, to, plus odds. And they were 220, I think, 240, something like that. And I went, that stinks. And then, the next day, a story came out that Qatar had approached many of the Ecuadorian players to throw the game, and let Qatar win 1-0 on a second half goal and let them have their moment, so that they can think that they were accepted. Everybody is like, dude, we fucking see you, man. You did this 12 years ago. That's your only trick. Your playbook has one page. Okay. Like what are you talking about? So, like, you'll never get that from the Netherlands. All they're looking for is, like, can we be the second team out of this group and get one more game before we get our doors blown off in the round of 16?
Yeah, for the Netherlands. So we've got Ecuador and Qatar. That's the first game. Qatar had never been in a World Cup. Ecuador has been in the previous 3. Their best result was a round of 16 in 2006. They're still running Valencia out there and Delgado and a couple of new guys. Our friends Caicedo and Estupan, who both play in Brighton, are there. And the most caps team player is Edinson Mendes. I don't even know who that guy is. But for the Netherlands, who are the big dog in this group, they catch a break, because Senegal, sadly, Sadio Mane is out of the World Cup.
That's a death knell for them, I think.
The defending CAF champions, they should still finish second, because they're a deep team, lots of Premier League players, lots of players from France. Once again, France putting people in the World Cup. I don't know what France is doing, but if you were used to be a colonial country from France, but is it
France putting people in the World Cup, or is it Africa putting people in France?
Both. It's
both.
It's a group effort. Like, they let them go there, and then their 7% tax rate puts money in the ghettos so that they can get the play, not have to pay for it.
But we're going to spend a lot of time on Group B. So quick predictions for Group A. Netherlands, Senegal, with maybe a backdoor for Ecuador. Any objections to that?
Ecuador barely got in, and they had an ineligible player. If you know this story,
that's right.
Chile tried to get backdoor in, because Ecuador had a guy who was from Colombia and honestly made an honest mistake. He's like, I literally don't know where I was born, and this is the passport I have.
Yeah.
And so they let him play, and then they found out he was born in the wrong country.
All right.
It was really an administrative problem that Chile tried to sort of use to get into the World Cup. But so Ecuador does have a penalty on the next group. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think I would say
because we can look back at them and laugh at how wrong we were, as we normally do. So I'm going to say LC, and then Mike, you keep going. I'm just going to.
I'm going to go. I think Netherlands are clearly the class of the group, with Senegal even finishing second and going through, with Ecuador and Qatar finishing the group. If Qatar wins a game, if Qatar scores a goal, that would be an achievement, frankly. Do we want to go around before we touch Group B?
They'll score a goal.
Yes. They'll buy one. Let's go around in Group B last. So we'll go to Group C, which is where the favorites reside. Argentina on a 37-game unbeaten run. current Copa Sudamerica champions. This is all about Messi. The coaches got them pulled together. This team is really, really good. They don't really have a weakness. They have different ways to play. One of the issues that's always happened with Argentina is turmoil within their country would spill out onto the team. Players wouldn't get paid. They try and strike. If you remember a couple of years ago, Messi was like, I'm not going to play anymore. But now they've put the team together. The coaches got them playing together. And the unit plays for Messi. If you watch that Copa Sudamerica, Copa Americas thing, really they were totally in. They're all in on Messi. The whole team is now rallied around him, and he's there to do what he needs to do. And there's no beef. It's just like, Messi's our guy. We all pull around him, and he tries to go. And for me, my story of the tournament is I want Messi to win this more than I ever wanted any other player to win anything, because the idea that he's not the greatest player of all time because he doesn't have a World Cup trophy is just unlucky. Like, he's so much better than Maradona that it's laughable. It's like, what are we talking about? Maradona is frozen in time because of one World Cup and 2 plays. He has 5 minutes of footage that makes him better than Messi, which is absurd.
Yeah. I get that. And I am completely in agreement. If you don't have a rooting interest, and by the way, if you're American, you have 2 in this group. Messi is he's, to use a hockey reference, he's the Henrik Lundqvist. Let's get him a cup before he retires. And
but he has the squad. It's a nice thing, right?
He does. He's got a group behind him. I mean, and Lautaro Martinez, watch him closely. He's super fun. Paulo Dybala, my good friend and yours, Christian Romero. This team is built like it hasn't been for a long time. It's got good defending. Lisandro Martinez, we talk about him a lot. It is strong all the way through, whereas Argentina famously over the course of Messi's career has always been go, 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 and oh shit, whoops. So they're strong all the way through, and it's a reason why I think they're the second favorite to win. But yeah, huge initiative to get the trophy in Messi's hands. And oh, by the way, also in Group C is the U.S.'s main rival, who I am not allowed technically to hate, I guess. Otherwise, I become a xenophobe. So what? I'm here. It's World Cup time. Fuck
no,
Mexico.
Do it. Fuck
Mexico.
No. We love them to my Mexican friends, John and Alejandro and and Manny.
I love John and Alejandro. I hate your team.
Everyone, it's so much of our community in the U.S. is Mexican. So, but when it comes to sport, they're our rival. And then, of course, we have the Mexico of Europe, Poland, who can't seem to get through anything. They get to another level. They lose unexpectedly all the time. They are kind of the Mexico of Europe in a weird way. Yeah. They supply all the immigrants, but they're just led by Lewandowski trying to push the team forward. But they just don't quite have enough. And then rounding out the group is Saudi Arabia, who I think most of their players play in the Saudi Arabian League. I think they're kind of an unknown. I would expect that they're a very tricky winger group. The Arab nations tend to want to play, but for lack of a better word, they tend to lack resilience. Like if they go down a goal, they fold. But if they're playing well, they'll play well. Famously, Saudi Arabia, I believe, is Go USA, right?
No, that was Algeria.
Oh, see, they wear green too. I got that wrong.
Yeah.
They're in the other group.
Who you got coming out of this group? Argentina winning, and who else?
Mexico has been terrible. I think that's an admitted thing. Jimenez is essentially cooked. They're talking about trying to get Javier Hernandez back in. They don't have a striker. They can't score goals. They haven't played well. I think Poland are probably better. So I'm going to go Argentina, Poland. But that's not to disrespect Mexico. They're kings of the round of 16. I just think that CONCACAF being weak and Mexico playing poorly, they're just not there right now.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going Argentina, Mexico, and it is to disrespect Mexico. Fuck them. We're excited.
I said Argentina, Poland.
I'm sorry. I'm going Argentina, Poland as well.
Okay.
And mine is to disrespect Mexico. Okay. I missed the dunk. Dunk.
Okay.
All right, on to Group D and your famous French frogs.
French frogs, very deep, fantastic team. But if you know French football history, they never play well the second time round. They've been poor. Didier Deschamps' message, is it still there? They're injured. No N'Golo Kante, no party, no Pogba, no party. So we're going to have a new midfield with probably Chukwuemeka and the guy from Real Madrid. I think they're both there, but I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But they are, World Cup champions. They have Kylian Mbappe, who's right there as being the
That
best in the
guy.
world. They still have Benzema. They still have your mascot in mind, the hardworking, handsome Olivier Giroud. By the
And
way,
Hugo Lloris in goal.
that's actually a negative, to be fair.
Oh, stop that.
He's not.
But when you look at
does
this
yak
group,
stuff.
but he makes a lot of his reactions for me are aside from Ederson, he's the best keeper in this tournament. But I have a lot of trouble thinking that they're going to have a lot of trouble with this group, right? Like Australia,
no, not with the group, but as a favorite, I think France. France is.
I think what you're getting at is, you could see Denmark, who is, for my money, the feistiest team in this tournament, maybe, could draw them and like beat them on goal difference for top of the group. And that's actually what I'm going to say. I'm going to take Denmark to win the group and France to come in second on goal difference. And Tunisia and Australia are an afterthought.
Well, I mean, Australia is we know they are a really good national team because they do travel well with fans. They will fight. They will not give up. The Tunisian team has some players that we should remember. They have Wabi Kazri, I think, is a known player. Boufal, who plays at Southampton, really, really tricky winger. So they should have some attacking impetus. But most of these teams, what happens in these tournaments is they give up goals, or you really find out, dude, goalkeeping matters.
So it feels like you always say watching Manchester City, right? Like if they score in the first 10 minutes, it's going to be 6. If they don't, the longer it goes, the hairier it gets, right? I get that feeling from France in this group, watching them play Australia and Tunisia.
The risk for France is they have so many good players that they get to infighting, which is what they're famous for. 2002, they imploded. Famously, 2010, they revolted. I mean, imploding and revolting are two different things. But they had some really bad problems because the diversity, the winning now, all the stuff comes to a head, especially when they're not playing well. And
how do we say this properly? Blackmailing a teammate with sex pictures, right? Have we forgotten that part, Benzema?
But Benzema, he went into the wilderness and now he's back. So that's good for him. And then we have the real group of death, Group E, Costa Rica, tough.
I think it's one of two, anymore. But yes.
Germany, Japan, Spain is about as tough as it gets.
Because I have it up there with Group H. I have E and H as the 2-1, but I think
so. Japan, always a tough team, always very technical, always a tough team to play. Germany, weak right now in terms of not having a striker. I believe Werner's out. They're going to rely on Havertz to score goals. It might still be Muller up top. We know they have tournament stuff. We know they have strength. We know that Musala is a really big young player who could completely change things. They still have Kimmich and Rudiger and all these great players, but someone to score the goals is their issue.
Let me throw a name at you. I believe he's on the squad. I thought I saw it go by. Adeyemi from Dortmund. I'm a big fan of him. He is fast as lightning, and he's very, very Lukaku-ish. All the way down to his left foot.
It's Musalia that I really like, the 18-year-old who plays at what do you call it, at Dortmund. I mean, the other one, the other big team, Bayern.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but we'll see our friends, Serge Gnabry's there and Havertz, and they're still Germany. Like, we can't discount them, but this is not a vintage German side. And then for Spain is a lot of young players, a lot. They also don't have a great striker either. It's still Ferran Torres and Alvaro Morata, and that's all I needed to say, right? Like, those two guys are not good. Torres is not playing for Spain. I mean, for Barcelona after they got Lewandowski. Force your move from City. Go play there. Enjoy yourself. And then Alvaro Morata is just as likely to fall over in front of goal as score awardly. So, maybe Dani Almo, but we'll be looking for Pedro and Gavi to really bang things around. And they have a good coach. One of
Busquets is still the captain,
and he still has to play, which is really bad. But in the World Cup, things are different. That age stuff doesn't matter.
Well, because it's just such a short tournament, right? And
Can't have a
I don't
bad
know. I
result.
can see the Ticos taking points off of one of them. I don't know which one. The
I
Ticos are
don't
the
know
best.
this, but they're not good anymore. They're still the same guys.
I know, but they're just so They're all 40. I know, but
Yeah,
they're scrappy as hell.
all their starters are over 30.
Yeah,
It's not good.
but again, in a short tournament, I can see, and they got Spain out of the chute. I could see a 1-1 or a 0-0 draw with Spain easily.
Sure. The
I'm
fearlessness,
not
right? They're
saying they'll
not
get
afraid,
through.
right? They're not
No.
afraid. They don't care. They're like, we're here. We're just going to play. Let's get it done. Whereas
Yeah.
the Spanish kids are really young. This is a big deal for them. Another
Yeah.
group that I enjoy. I like this
Hold on.
group.
Who do you got? Who do you got in the?
Oh, who do I
you
got?
coming
I
out
mean,
of
it's Germany. It's Germany and Spain. I don't think
in which
there's
order?
anything weird about that. I don't think Japan have
Okay.
enough to score goals. I figure Spain will find a way through, but this tournament does throw things out.
We're gonna have to start being different, because Group F
But
is a layup.
they made it this way. We'll be different down the road. So
Yeah.
F is Belgium, Canada, Croatia, Morocco. Wow. I love me some Canada. This is their first World Cup since 1986, but they led CONCACAF. They are scrappy. They have a good coach. Belgium are the darlings of this group, but I think half the team is still the team that went against Tim Howard, right? It's still Vertonghen. Yeah. It's still Alderweireld, which is fucking shocking.
That's worrying.
That's true. But I mean, aside from those two defenders, they're still really good. I think Martinez plays too offensive to win the World Cup. Frankly, they should try and protect those guys. And I think Wout Faust, that we talked about when we talk about Leicester, should actually be taking one of those defender spots. And I feel like it's Vertonghen. He's really slow. I don't know. I haven't seen Alderweireld and Vertonghen for a while. I'm not sure which one is shittier than the other.
I think Jan is at Benfica now, and Toby's in the Saudi Arabia league, so he's been gone off the face of the earth for a little bit, but
I do
making so much money.
If Wout Faust is on this team, he should be in the defense. I don't see him here. Yeah, there he is. Wout Faust, the fake David Luiz who's playing for Leicester. He's essentially transformed their defense. He should be playing with Castagna and one of Vertonghen or Alderweireld, not both.
Right.
I think Hazard still plays, which is sort of sad because he's pretty washed up. Don't know what level of Lukaku is, so it's kind of tough. And then we have Croatia, who just have probably the best midfield of any team in this tournament. Modric is still fucking incredible, and then Kovacic next to him. Just nothing is getting through them. They just can play through the lines, always protecting the team. They have a closer in Kramaric. They have Perisic. We've seen what he can do. Yeah. This team is tough. They play tough. They have an identity. They know how to play. They have good fans. So these teams that we sort of see over and over again, and on the back of the last World Cup, Luka Modric won the fucking Ballon d'Or, which is insane. Yeah. So they're still there. And then Morocco, again, this is that connection to France. Lots of French-based players, lots of players whose name you see, Roman Saiss, Akam Hakimi. They have name brand players, but again, you just don't trust these teams yet. They don't seem either to have the coaching or the cohesion that they're worse than the sums of their parts, sadly. Mm-hmm. But they could, if they get a goal, they can hang in. But like this is where those skill and special positions, like the Moroccan goalkeeper, I just don't trust these teams in that regard. And then, out of the group, I mean, I know it's easy to say, and I might go crazy, but I'm gonna do my first off the board. I'm going Croatia, Canada.
Oh wow!
I want Canada. I'm going CONCACAF Thunder. The Belgians are going to collapse. They've been collapsing for years. I just
you should bet on Canada. I saw their odds to get out of the group. I mean, you could also just send me the money, but
yeah. And I think Kevin De Bruyne wants to go home to try and win the Champions League.
Wow. Okay. I have Croatia, Belgium. I don't think that there's any. I think this is the easiest group to pick.
I know. It's okay.
But no, I love the pick. I like it a lot. When you look at that, you go, there are two teams that belong in the World Cup, and there's two teams that don't belong in the World Cup. So
Canada's good. I don't care.
Canada's fine.
They're bigger than the sum of their parts.
Without Without Davies, I don't see it.
Is he
I
out?
don't see, yes. You want to change your pick?
No.
All right. I'm pretty sure he's out. But
Oh, okay. Well,
he's hurt. I don't know what actually I should have, but I don't. But yeah,
let's
I
just remember this. Kyle Laren scored 13 goals in qualifying.
Yeah, and Jonathan David did
Jonathan
it too.
David
I
scored
get
9.
it.
Like,
I get
this
it.
team has what you need: goal scoring.
I get it. I understand it. I'm not
if
arguing it.
Davies, I'm working on the assumption that Davies is there. If Davies is there, it's everything because they have the out ball. He can become that heroic team. This is one of the World Cup is a tournament where it gets weirdly more MLS-y, where the teams are kind of bad.
Yeah.
And if you have 3 good guys, you just give them the ball.
all through qualifying, I have called Canada, CONCACAF Wales, right? Because that basically puts Davies in the Gareth Bale role. And
right.
And they've got a supporting cast, like you said. So yeah, no, you're right. I could see it, but
although I think their goalkeeper broke his leg in the MLS final.
Oh Jesus! But again, in this group I can't see it. I would take them over Spain in that scrappy nature. I would. I would take them over Denmark or Poland or Mexico. But
you trust Croatia and Belgium.
I trust Croatia and Belgium. Like
I think they're both old and one could falter, so I picked Belgium.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair.
We go to Group H with G.
Group G. Who? Yeah, that's the alphabet. Who's finishing in second to Brazil?
Serbia, of course.
Yeah.
I fucking love this team. I'm going. It's all Mitrovic. This is for my friend Dan Sormaz, the super Serb, who's now at So Rare, formerly of Spotify. My Serbian friend. I love Mitrovic. I love all the itches in this team. They're going to scratch it for me. Jovic, if he shows up again, who somehow went to Real and disappeared.
Yeah, all right.
My friend,
I was going to do Switzerland.
Yeah, my friend, Mr. Dusan Tadic. By the way, all the guys who are Swiss should be Serbian because they're all refugees. So I don't know, if you can't make the Serbian team, you play for Switzerland. No, I'm kidding around. There's a bunch of different countries that are made up of Swiss players. But the Swiss did put out France last time. They are good. They are tough. They have good players. We have Granit Xhaka leading that team. And Shaqiri still, but coming off a bad MLS season. Akanji from City's there. They have good players. They have Freuler, who plays for Nottingham Forest. Sommer, who's good for some heroics in goal. And then I believe they have a good striker that I'm flaking on. And they play a funky stop. They have Dennis Akira. They have a funky wingback who's really good. And I believe is it Jabril So? I can't remember from the last World Cup. Fabian Schär, a really good defender for part of the Premier League leading defense of Newcastle, playing in the back there. So they're quite good. They have good players. I just don't think they have enough in the goal scoring department to do damage, but they'll sit back and hit on the break and do damage that way. It is and Cameroon has been living off 1990 for a really long time. They have Choupo-Moting, who's of course a legend. Our friend Onana out of Everton is playing for them. Zambo Anguissa of the world class fucking Napoli also started at Fulham. So they do have good players as well playing for Cameroon. And you want an African team. It is technically Qatar. Is that the Middle East? Is it part of the Horn of Africa? It is, closer to home than it normally would be.
Yeah, right. Well, it's certainly closer to home. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. So they have a good team. I don't know enough about where they are. I tend not to trust the African teams, unfortunately, because we don't see them enough, and they tend to have a disjointed nature because their players don't have a national league. So everyone's playing all over the place. Well, look, it takes them a little bit longer to get together.
What you look at it in the context of the group is Brazil's going to put one on somebody. They're going to put 5 on somebody. And it's going to be Cameroon, right? Like Serbia is going to shank somebody. Maybe they get a red card and they give up 3 or 4 goals. That's different. Switzerland's going to play a tight game. They're going to lose a close one to them. But I think Cameroon is playing with house money. And at that point,
it's the toughest group, even though Brazil is, it's by far the group of death.
What, Group G?
The teams in this group are good.
Yeah, I understand. I don't necessarily agree with that, but looking at it from Cameroon's seed, it sure as shit is.
What I'm saying is yes, Brazil's the best team, but can you really separate Cameroon, Serbia, and Switzerland? No.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I think you can. I think Cameroon is a distant fourth. So I think that Serbia and Switzerland have something to say for the second spot, but
Yeah.
for sure. But that's what I mean is that like Cameroon doesn't play Brazil first. I don't know if they play them second or third.
Yeah.
But
But again, it's one of these things of pedigree. Like the team that doesn't go through, any of those teams will be disappointed. They all think they're going to finish.
yeah, sure,
You know what
sure.
I mean?
But what I'm saying is I think Cameroon will lose the goal difference battle to Brazil.
Yes.
And it'll be a foregone conclusion that they're gone. I have Serbia as well. I actually initially had Switzerland. You talked me into Serbia. But I do think that there is some distance between those two and Cameroon. And that's not a knock on Cameroon, but I do, like I said, I think they're going to get smoked by Brazil. And I think that could end up being the difference.
Yeah, because it's always going to be super tight. Like it's a draw.
Yeah.
It's
yes. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, and then we get to what I think is my favorite group, Group H, old friends, Portugal and Ghana from the 2014 US group, Uruguay, who I am just intoxicated with. And my friend, busted face Sonny, who I just saw a picture of wearing insanely high shorts and a Batman mask in South Korea. So I don't know what to think of Portugal because there does seem to be some infighting now after the Ronaldo spat.
They're too good.
Oh, I know that, but I want to believe that there's a chink in the armor there. And I think that you have, and you more than anybody know that Heung-min Son can beat a team by himself.
He can.
So I want to believe that there's a way that Sonny, I'm not saying that South Korea, because by the way, I don't want them to advance. I want him to get back to London. I'm going to be very clear about that.
I agree.
I want to be very clear about that. But I do think that he himself could take down Portugal and create chaos in this group. I think Korea finishes third.
We know that Korea are the best team in the Asian World Division. They have really good history in the World Cup, and they have a great player, which can go a long way. So there's that. I mean, Portugal and Uruguay are the class of this group by far, especially historically. Portugal still within the last five years are European champions. The thing that I worry about with Portugal is their coach is defensive minded, and this team should be playing.
Yeah.
And I think Portugal just has a historical want to sit back, and I don't know why they should sit back against any of the teams in this group. They should be
pushing them off the field. Yeah, I agree.
Right.
But let's go quick. What do you got as your 1 and 2 here?
I mean, Uruguay we love because of the fight, because of the nature.
Rodrigo Bentancur.
And they are 2-time World Cup champions.
That's right.
Which is still fucking insane to say out loud. And we should always say it out loud because the country only has 7 million people. They have a great history. And I wanna put them through. I mean, I think Nunez is coming into form. Darwin Nunez for them. He is so good. The midfield strong. Fede Fernandez in Real Madrid has been incredible. He's been fantastic. There's no reason that he shouldn't push through. So
here's an interesting note. Who's winning the group for you?
I'm going to go with Uruguay.
God damn it!
Because I don't trust Portugal enough because they're going to sit on their hands.
All right, we're going to move quick now, but just so we're clear, the second place team in this group is going to play Brazil in the round of 16. So
you want Uruguay to finish second, so they have to
No. I want the battle of the actual Portuguese, right? So let's go back to our Group B. Thank you, England and US and Wales fans, for waiting through with us. I got news for you, US men's national team fans. It's going to be 2 and a barbecue. We're done. We're done. Remember this name, not Gareth Bale, Kiefer Moore.
Love that dude.
He is 7 feet tall. He is going to score against the U.S. Now, look,
that's the thing is they're so stupid they might not play him.
yeah, you're right. But if he starts, it's over.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He plays.
It's not even that he's good. He's Peter Crouch, right? And he's gonna have Gareth Bale picking him out. Good luck with that, guys. Yeah, I'm not feeling very optimistic about the Americans' chances for actually as much of a reason as anything. the order in which they play teams. They have to play Wales first, and that's a really, really tough game for them. Then they have to play England second. And if you thought the first one was tough, Iran is the gimme, right? But it's not going to matter.
Because they're all going to get a gimme against Iran.
And the thing is that in the third game of the group, England is going to beat the brakes off of Iran in the first game. They're going to play Wales in the second game, and then they're going to get that third game. They're not going to give a shit about
Wales
that
is
third
a
game.
blood feud, though.
No. I know.
That is massive.
That
there are Welsh people that are like, I don't care what happens. If we beat England, we've won the World Cup.
I know. I understand. By the way, none of those people are players on the Welsh team, right? So. I mean, look, I've seen Ben Davies make many, many mistakes. In fact, I know Harry Kane knows how to make Ben Davies make a mistake. Okay,
he's terrible.
Yeah, so
I mean with Wales, they're better than the sum of their parts, right? Like, I recommend everyone watch Wales fans sing the national anthem. Like, they are the Eintracht Frankfurt of this thing. They're going to travel. They're in their first World Cup since 1958, and they can say it in a 32-team World Cup. Wales made the World Cup. Scotland, where are you? What are you doing? Like, this is embarrassing. You should not have Wales get in before you. Ireland, where are you? You know what I mean? Like, Wales are just incredible. They've been playing over their heads for now 8 years. It has been a lot of Bale. We can all admit that. They have one of the great players of the last 15 years on their team, which makes a difference. But they also had Ryan Giggs and didn't do shit. So let's talk about that. Ryan Giggs, who was supposed to be the coach of this team, but got arrested for some things with his family.
All right. So do you give us a chance at all?
Yes, I think the U.S. are better than Wales.
You think we get in?
I think the U.S. are better than Wales. I think England is worse than it thinks, because Gareth Southgate is lose the points. He's not
completely fair.
Good. He will fuck something up. There will be a game that they need to win, and he'll be playing 5 defenders and won't make a change until the 80th minute. That team, Harry Maguire will fuck something up. Eric Dyer will fuck something up.
Fair.
The team is not. They're not good enough right now. They are a bit. You don't have a good coach.
Yeah.
Who knows how to take advantage of the players that he has.
I don't. Do you think England won't win the group?
It's not that. I just think if they don't win the group, it literally is the biggest story.
Sure. But in the context of the U.S. qualifying for the knockout stage, I don't see any way that they finish ahead of England. Do you?
They will not finish ahead of England, no.
Okay. So then the question becomes...
They're better than Wales and Iran.
Yeah, well, obviously, I think they're better than Iran, but I don't know that they're better than Wales. In fact, I don't think that they are. I think that they have higher end, Gareth Bale aside, I think they have higher end talent on average. I do not think they have the cohesion that Wales does, and I don't even think it's close.
They definitely don't have the team. They don't have the mentality, right? They don't have, this isn't live or die. This isn't life or death. This is not nationalistic. Like, the U.S. team does not have guys that are like, this literally is the most important thing that has happened to my life. I love my country more than anything has ever happened. Americans just don't have that, period. I mean, a few do, but they're not good at soccer.
I do. I'm not playing. And by the way, I'm going to be level-headed. And when we stop recording, that jingoistic psychopath that has been living in my chest for 8 years, he's getting out of his cage. So and nobody is safe. But for right now, I'm cautiously optimistic. I hope that I am wrong. I have Wales finishing second in this group. So
that would be huge.
Yeah, good for them. And good for
By the way, the World Cup wants Wales to go.
By the way, half of the U.S. fans now are rooting for them because of fucking Wrexham anyway. So fuck off, okay? Anyway.
No, we can go more. I mean, I think we can go a little bit further. I think some of the things that are interesting about England are Raheem Sterling out of form. Southgate is just going to play him. He just plays the same guys over and over again. The only thing, I think the thing to watch is Bellingham in the midfield taking over for Phillips is a massive, massive thing because his upside is so much higher in the midfield than Declan Rice's and Phillips. He's so dynamic. He gets in the box. He becomes another option. He actually changes England's offense if they let him run. The other issue is they're going to play fucking Trippier and Walker. I mean, it's just going to be dire defensive football. And I think the key things for England are going to be how Shaw and Trippier do. If they can get those balls into the box early and do things, and if England score goals early, are they going to do in Italy, or will they keep playing? They have this fucking tendency to be like, oh, we got a goal. We're going to sit back and soak up pressure like we're Spurs. Sorry. So there's that. And then it's just, does the pressure of this whole thing get to the English players? They've historically had problems, but that's one thing I give credit to Southgate for. He's completely erased that mentality of England are losers, will never win anything.
He has. Oh, by the way, just a quick note on England, and then because I want to get to the knockout stages here, because I do have it who's playing who all the way down to the final now, or at least for me. The notion that, like, because of all the controversy in Qatar, this tournament is tainted, flawed. It doesn't matter. It's not worth anything. All noble points of view. All noble points of view on November 18th. And and when England reaches the knockout stage, it's coming home. Exactly what it's gonna be. For fucking 3 weeks. For fucking 3 weeks. So don't you sit there with these slack jaws and your accents and your bullshit and sit here and tell me that this doesn't matter to you.
Oh, it matters.
I know it's the only thing that matters to you.
Oh, it's coming home, baby. It's coming home. It's coming home. So here I do really want the U.S. By the way, I have to have another point. I do want the U.S. to have a big run. I do really love Tyler Adams and Aronson. Those are the two players that I think can carry this team forward. Tim Ream accidentally making the team, I think, is huge because the central defense, having two MLS guys was just like, please no, go ahead, no, not John Brooks. At least Tim Ream can play, and that's what he's supposed to do. I think I do worry about Berhalter and his sort of like this kind of like we have to be tiki-taka, whatever. You know, I'd rather we be Allardyce Dicey and just be like, we're American, we're big, and we're fast, which is what the U.S. used to be. But now we have a lot of technical, skinny little Europeans in disguise. So I'm not sure we can play that way anymore. And I think the big problem the U.S. has is we don't have a striker. No. And the striker we had, we left him home. Prefork has been playing well. He's not even there. Pepe didn't even make the team. It's just a lot of MLS, a lot of Zimmerman, which I'm just like, Kellen Acosta. I just don't trust the league. I watch MLS. It's really poor.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, so then that in the round of 16, that sets up Netherlands, USA, and I have Netherlands and Wales. So who's your winner out of that?
Between the Netherlands and the USA?
Yes.
The Dutch will smoke them.
I know. I'm just making sure
it's not even close.
I know. England,
although they don't have a striker either. They are relying on Memphis Depay.
Yeah, but that feels a lot better.
If we had Memphis Depay, he'd be the greatest American who's ever played.
England and Senegal. We both have England and Senegal in the round of 16.
I wouldn't be surprised if Senegal beat them. Honestly.
Are you going to take Senegal over England right now?
I could in a round of 16. Sure.
Okay. All right. You've got Senegal.
They're not. England aren't good. England. They've never beat anybody good.
I have England. Argentina. You have Argentina, Denmark. I have Argentina, France.
Argentina. They have a tough road. They can beat any team.
I know. You then have France and Poland, and I have Denmark and Poland.
Poland are not beating France.
No. So then we basically both have Argentina, France, by the way. It doesn't matter which round. Germany, and you have Germany and Canada. I have Germany and Belgium.
That is some fucking World War I ×2 Ashendale. Oh, we have the Maginot Line. We'll go through Belgium again.
We have passed up like 6 different World War II jokes, folks, just so we're clear. What do you got? Germany, Canada.
Canada!
You fuck. All right. I've got Germany. You've got Croatia and Spain. I've got Croatia and Spain as well. So who do you have of those two?
The strength of Spain is their midfield, and the strength of Croatia is their midfield. But Croatia's midfield's better than Spain's, so I'm going to go with Croatia.
I agree. That's what exactly that I had as well. We both have Brazil and Portugal in the round of 16 coming out of groups G and H.
Portugal.
Oh, I love that.
Bernardo Silva's going to win on penalties, and
I have Brazil.
They're going to go take that, slave master.
And then we both hold on, where are we? We both have Uruguay versus Serbia.
Oh, that's Uruguay.
Okay. So then the quarterfinals for you is Senegal versus Netherlands. By the way, crazy shit happens in this tournament. So I'm like scoffing at you that I'm the asshole. Senegal and Netherlands. You have Argentina, France, Canada and Croatia, and then Portugal and Uruguay. I have England, Netherlands, Argentina, Denmark, Germany, Croatia, Brazil, and Uruguay. Now, listen.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm giving respect to the African champions.
I understand what I was just saying about the United States in 2014. There's a way that if the stars align, you can find yourself ass backwards in the quarters of the semifinal, and you wake up.
England made it to the semifinal. They had the easiest road ever.
They really did in 2018. That's right. But I mean, look, they were a good team. But still, my point is that Canada can wake up and find themselves in the quarterfinal of the World Cup and go, how the fuck did we get here? Right? So okay. So here you go. Senegal and Netherlands. Who you got?
I'm going Senegal. I'm riding my African horse to the end.
I have Uruguay.
If it was the Ivory Coast, I'd be talking about Ivory Coast. And
I have England and Netherlands. I'm taking England. You have Argentina and France. I had Argentina and France a round ago, and I took Argentina. Who do you have?
I think I think France are weak. I think it's the time of Messi. I think they find a way.
Awesome. Argentina. I love that. I have Argentina and Denmark. I also have Argentina setting up a semifinal of England and Argentina.
Ooh, Falklands action.
Yeah. Canada, Croatia. Don't do it again.
No. Now the road ends. For Canada.
Yeah, the road freezes up. It's Croatia. Yeah. I have Germany, Croatia. I also took Croatia.
Hey, look at that.
Portugal and Uruguay.
Portugal, Uruguay. Is that mine?
That's your last quarterfinal.
This is where it gets tough and you don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Portugal, Uruguay is a toss-up. It's penalties, 6-5. Nunez finishes it. Uruguay goes
through. I have even more of an upset. I have Brazil and Uruguay. And I have Uruguay coming through, going to the
No, we don't want Brazil. We just don't like Brazil.
Fuck them. So, all right, here's what we have. Your semifinals are Senegal, Argentina, and Croatia, Uruguay. And mine are England, Argentina, and Croatia, Uruguay. Somehow we found ourselves with 3 of the same 4 semifinalists.
And I don't even know what I'm doing. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point you go with the South American teams, Uruguay and Brazil making it to the final for me. Is that I have Brazil there?
No, you have Senegal and Argentina and Croatia.
Yeah, I have Argentina defeating Senegal, excuse me.
Yep.
And then they play Uruguay in a Rio de la Plata war for souls of people in South America. And with Argentina winning, hensely, they set fire to Buenos Aires. And Montevideo. Both
just so we don't have the same exact finalists. I'll take England over Argentina. And I will take Uruguay over Croatia, which sets up England and Uruguay. And I hate to do it to you, Uruguay, but I am taking Sir Harry of Kane to fire home his 9th, 10th, and 11th. He's going to get a hat trick in the final. And then he's going to break his leg and be out for Tottenham for the rest of the year. I'm going to kill myself.
By the way, that will be the worst thing that could happen, because if Harry Kane wins the World Cup, I think his Premier League season's over. He's like, what?
I fucking don't care. I don't care.
He's gonna be drunk. He's gonna be
fatter than Wayne
Jack
Rooney.
Grealish is gonna be dead.
Oh my god.
Off the floor. He's gonna be talking about Almiron. Jack Grealish is just hide the hookers. I mean, forget it. Oh god. Do they have hookers in Qatar?
They'll bust them in from elsewhere.
They must. They had harems.
Yeah. I don't
No
know.
beer.
I don't know.
But hookers.
But hookers. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
Folks,
God.
there it is. We've got
We made it to
give me a golden boot. I already said mine. Who's your golden boot?
Let's let Neymar have it because it matters to him. He's gonna put like 5 on some shitty team, and it's gonna be happy to him. He's gonna be like, I got the golden boot because I'm such
I think
a
it's
dick. And
I'm going
he's
chalk.
actually he's gonna make his team lose and hate him. That's why he's scoring the goals.
I'm going chalk with Kane, and then I'm taking Nunez to finish second just because I think Uruguay goes on that big of a run. So
they could go out, by the way. We could be totally wrong.
We could be completely wrong. And you know what? That's the beauty of a short tournament. But that's our brackets. You tell us yours. That's all we got. Laurent, let's get out of here.
That was the Squeaky Bum Time podcast with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. We are the football wing of the Chop Sports Network. We record on Tuesdays and Fridays, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode. We will be covering the World Cup for sure.